Your kind compliments.
You country guys, I'm getting a really important topic tonight, and that is about prenatal nutrition and how to build healthy babies. There seems to be a real baby boom going on. The baby boomers had baby boomlets, and now they're having babies, and it's just so wonderful, and it's such an important time. And the nutrition that we have when we have this 9-month period to produce these little sweet babies can really contribute to their lifelong health. So, Steve, you're going to get us started, and I'm going to click here.
Okay. Well, so just to kind of start things off on a light note, I mean, you've heard the saying, girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. You've got a nice little picture for that. Barb's great at coming up with these pictures. But boys are made of frogs and snails and puppy dog tails. And again, Barb's got a couple of great pictures to go with that.
Oh, isn't that cute?
As you probably suspect that there's a little bit more to it than that.
Oh, is that cute? All right. Well, yes, there is. And so we're talking about building a baby, and we need to provide all the nutrients that little baby is going to be needing, because the baby is going to get first dibs on nutrients, and the mom will suffer if we don't have adequate nutrition for both the mom and the baby. So we have an awesome responsibility, and it's a time when we really need to get serious about what we're eating, because the standard American diets of pizza and Pop-Tarts and pop and soda is not going to make the kind of healthy baby that we're looking for. Steve?
Okay, and we need to recognize that there are some increased nutritional needs during pregnancy. You do need more calories, but you're not really eating for two. I mean, I know sometimes, that you hear that over and over again. That doesn't mean you're eating twice the calories you did before you're pregnant. Actually, your increase is about 150 calories per day in the first trimester, up to 300 calories a day in the second and third trimester. So, that's not an invitation to go through the buffet line 3 times. But you do need to recognize the additional needs, because if you don't meet those needs, and again, there's some women, if we look at the flip side of the coin, that are really trying so hard to maintain their pre-pregnancy weight, that they eat too few calories, and so that can cause deficiencies. It's going to stunt your child's development, maybe even their mental development. So, but if we really want to look at the balance, an extra serving or 2 of healthy foods is generally sufficient to meet those increased caloric needs. Now, the other thing, we didn't talk about more calories, but we don't often talk about the fact that we need more protein. We need about 10 grams a day more protein than we were getting before you were pregnant, and you need that protein to build all that new tissue in the fetus and still maintain the tissue in the mom. So, as Barb was saying a minute ago, things like chips, pretzels, sodas won't build a healthy baby. But the other thing is, a lot of moms are really health conscious, but, even if you're eating salads, whole grain muffins, and fresh fruit, that's not going to do either. That may be healthy, but it's not giving you that extra protein that you need. There's very little protein in salads, whole grains, and that sort of, and muffins and that sort of thing.
So let's talk about some of the other nutrients that really are critical. And there's our favorite at the top of the list for women at any age and in any condition, but particularly when we're pregnant, is B vitamins. Our need for B vitamins increases significantly, 20 to 30%. It's needed for organ development, blood, nerve cell development, and deficiencies have been directly linked to birth defects in babies and anemia, anxiety, depression in moms. Postpartum depression is very, very common. 33% of women don't get enough B6. Vegetarians and vegans, they often don't get enough B12 from the diet. And our need for antioxidants also increases dramatically. Vitamin C is needed for tooth and bone development, vitamin E for new tissue development. Babies draw vitamin C and vitamin E from mom, and then that impairs the wound healing and immune system for moms. And 35% of women are not getting enough vitamin C, and 97% are not getting enough vitamin E in their diet alone. And that's why a multivitamin is absolutely essential. Okay, Steve?
Okay, so folic acid is particularly special. And again, we talked about B vitamins being linked to birth defects. Folic acid is probably the number one B vitamin birth defect link that people really know about. We need folic acid for healthy cell development, healthy nerve development, and it's been known for a number of years that deficiencies of folic acid can directly cause birth defects, such as neural tube defects, where that sort of nerve in the spinal cord that goes to the brain really doesn't completely close, and that can be devastating. So the daily value, the recommended intake of folic acid is 600 micrograms a day from food and from supplements during pregnancy. Now, because of the recognition of the direct link between folic acid and birth defects, foods have been fortified with folic acid today. But even with food fortification, 35% of pregnant women still don't get 600 micrograms of folic acid a day from their diet alone. Now, so the experts still recommend about 400 micrograms a day from supplements, and maybe more if the moms are anemic.
And one of the things I want to mention here, Steve, is that I remember back several years ago, one of the researchers at Shaklee was telling us that folic acid is a particularly tricky nutrient to absorb out of a vitamin tablet. And you'll see it on the label of B vitamins, you'll see it on the label of multivitamins. But he said that is no indication at all that you're going to absorb it, because if it's not absorbed in the stomach, then you lose your ability to absorb it. And so that's why Shaklee has always put the folic acid in a coating on the outside of their B vitamin and on the outside of their multivitamin, and that's why you get such excellent absorption with that. Let's talk about calcium then. Calcium needs go up to 1,000 milligrams a day, needed throughout pregnancy, and not just only to increase your bone density in the first trimester and then to create baby's bones in the second and the third, but calcium is also very important for good sound sleep. You need it also for your muscles. So very common in pregnancy, women get leg cramps. And when I was talking to Harper Guerra today, and she said that she took Osteomatrix before bed at night when she's had 2 pregnancies now with Shaklee, and she said she never had any leg cramps. 50% of women are not getting enough calcium from their diet to start with, and then if not getting 3 to 4 servings of dairy or some sort of supplementation is absolutely required. And, dairy's tricky. I don't know that I'm real excited about people having 4 servings of dairy a day anyway, because it's very hard to digest, and it can be very mucus producing in some folks. And for heaven's sakes, if there's one food you want to get out of the house, it's soft drinks. They are terrible for your bones. They dissolve your bone, and diet drinks are no better, only then they have the artificial sweeteners, which are even worse.
Okay,
Professor?
then there's the iron need. So, your needs for iron double to 30 milligrams per day. So normally it's 15, it doubles to 30, and that's because you're creating that new blood supply. Both the mom's blood supply is increased to support the fetus, but the fetus, you have to create the whole blood supply for the fetus. That requires a lot of iron. So deficiencies can cause anemia in the mom, but it can also affect the mental development of the fetus. And yet 50% of pregnant women aren't getting 30 milligrams of iron in their diet. Now, this is where supplementation is usually recommended. Almost every obstetrician will recommend some sort of iron supplementation. Now, again, it doesn't need to be 30 milligrams necessarily, because 85% of women in this country are, during pregnancy, will be getting 15 milligrams of iron per day. Usually there's enough of awareness of the needs for iron to be getting that much. So in many cases, you don't need to do 30 milligrams, but you need at least 15 milligrams of supplemental iron per day.
And I want to mention, when I was talking to Harper today, she made the point, she said that so many of her friends had issues with constipation during their pregnancy because of the iron that they were given in their prenatal, and she said that was one of the things she loves about the Shaklee multivitamin with iron or Vitalizer with iron, is she said it never caused any constipation, which is really a good news. Professor?
And then there's omega-3 fatty acids. That's one you didn't used to hear about for pregnancy, but we're becoming, realizing that that's becoming more and more important. Omega-3 fatty acids, if that's not part of your daily vocabulary, we're really talking about fish oil here, but particularly DHA. That's one of the omega-3 fatty acids, particularly important. Talk more about that in just a minute. But these omega-3 fatty acids are essential for brain development, for eye development, and there's new studies popping up every day. But there are clinical studies that show that when moms supplement with omega-3s, just to make sure they're getting enough omega-3s in their diet, kids have better eye-to-hand coordination and problem-solving skills at 9 months, have a better IQ at age 4. And the recommendation, that we don't have a daily value type recommendation, but many experts who study the omega-3 fatty acids and what they can do for the offspring and pregnant women, we're recommending about 300 milligrams per day, especially during the third trimester, because that's when the fetus is going to form the majority of its brain cells, and that's the majority of the brain cells it's going to have for its entire lifetime. And yet, most pregnant women in the United States are only getting about 10 to 15 milligrams per day. So a huge deficit over what's recommended. And I talk about DHA, because not all omega-3 fatty acids work equally well. DHA is special because it's the main one when you start to think about of brain. It composes 97% of the omega-3 fatty acids you find in the brain, 93% of the omega-3 fatty acids you find in the retina, and the two major long-chain omega-3 fatty acids are EPA and DHA. Those are the ones that are found primarily in fish oil. But again, not all the omega-3s are converted well to DHA. Again, I know there are some nutrition experts that talk about the omega-3 vegetable oils, talk about canola oil, flaxseed oil as good sources of omega-3s. Well, here's the deal. The long-chain fatty acids, EPA and omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA that you get from the fish oil are very well converted to DHA. Of course, DHA, it's 100% because you start with DHA, but even EPA can be, the conversion of EPA to DHA is in the range of 80 to 90%. So your fish oils are going to be very good sources of these long-chain fatty acids. But the short-chain fatty acids, the ones you find in flaxseed oil, canola oil, here, if you flip back, they can actually see that it's really about 3 to 5% conversion, or I guess 5 to 10% conversion. So, if you see the vegetable oils, and in a lot of the omega-3 fortified foods, you have to read the label, because unless it says from fish oil, or unless it says EPA or DHA, it's going to be those short-chain omega-3s, and the conversion rate is so low that you're not going to get the benefit from those that you'd like to be getting. But fish aren't the best answer. If you could really read that slide, read that the same part that's circled there, it says pregnant women of childbearing age, and children under 15 years old should not eat fish or eels caught in these waters. There are a lot of places now where the water is so polluted that the fish aren't always the best answer. And the problem is the fish that we eat are kind of on the top of the food chain. So all the mercury and other contaminants can concentrate as you move up that food chain. So both the FDA and EPA, this is not the fish oil, this is the Environmental Protection Agency, warn moms to be cautious about fish consumption because of the mercury and the other contaminants that can affect brain and neurological development. So while those fish oils are very useful, fish aren't always the best choice. And, if we just take salmon as an example, sort of my favorite food for getting the fish oils, the EPA and DHA, it turns out, again, salmon are sort of on the top of the food chain. They're often contaminated with PCBs and heavy metals. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, made a recommendation for the frequency of consumption of various types of salmon. So, for example, if they're wild, coho, or pink salmon, you should eat them no more than once a week. If they're wild Chinook or sockeye salmon, once or twice a month is max. Wild Alaskan Chinook only once a month. And then we get to the farmed salmon. If the farmed salmon have to be raised in Washington State or Chile, once a month is the max. If they come from Canada, Maine, or Norway, once every 2 months. And if you're unlucky enough to get farmed salmon from Scotland and the Faroe Islands, once a year is going to about do it. Now, I don't know about Chicago, but in North Carolina, if you go into a restaurant, you're lucky to you're lucky to find out whether it's farmed or wild. You have no idea which farm it was raised on. And if it's wild, people in North Carolina, at least the restaurateurs, can't tell you whether it's Chinook or sockeye or coho or pink. They don't know the difference. So, you have to be a little
came out of the freezer.
Goodness. Out of the freezer.
You got any more good news, Professor?
Well, then there's the omega-3 supplements. And I know it's a lot of people say, well, just get it at Costco or wherever because I can get it cheaper. Well, not all of them are equal. Some of you may remember in March of 2010 there was a lawsuit by the Mateel Environmental Justice Foundation against the makers and sellers of fish oil products. And what they did is they found that there's actually one major manufacturer that had minimal purification, no quality controls because they weren't required, and it relabeled its product and sold it to all of the major discount stores and actually some upscale stores that you would recognize if I told you their names as their own brand. Turns out the product was contaminated with high levels of PCBs. Now, the really interesting part is the FDA never acted. Even though these fish oils were contaminated, the manufacturers and stores were sued under the provisions of the California Proposition 65, which actually is a fair labeling law. So they were actually being sued because they didn't label their products fish oils plus PCBs.
Boy. Okay, so if that news wasn't good enough for you, and you will see this actually, there's this referred to in a PowerPoint on the Shaklee website, that in a study that was done by testing the blood and umbilical cords of newborn babies, they found 287 toxins in that newborn baby. Mercury and polyaromatic hydrocarbons and all those other interesting toxins you see there. Plus, these toxic chemicals can cause cancer. It can damage the intelligence of that baby, birth defects, and obesity. And so we live in a very toxic world, and we need to be careful about what we eat and what we're putting into our body, especially when we're pregnant.
So, Bob, that's probably enough bad news. Let's kind of get to the good news and talk about what women can do about it. And, I always recommend holistic approaches. So really, we're talking about weight control, diet, supplementation, exercise, all rolled in together. And really that sweet spot right in the middle where you're doing the best you can with all of those. So let's start with holistic approaches. Next slide. So what do the experts recommend? Number one, you start with a healthy weight. And that's because if you're overweight, that's going to cause, complications with you might get premature delivery, complications with delivery. But if you're underweight, you may never even be able to conceive in the first place. So you want to maintain a healthy weight. You want to get regular exercise because that reduces stress. And stress can lead to inflammation, and inflammation can lead to both infertility, the inability to conceive, but it can also lead to conceptions during the birth process, or complications during the birth process. And you want to eat that healthy diet of fresh fruits and vegetables, and then supplement with key nutrients. A prenatal or a multivitamin with extra Bs that supply in the range of 400 to 800 micrograms of folic acid, and add the omega-3s that you need for brain and eye development of your fetus. And then also the probiotics for digestive health. And it gets back to yeast, and I know that's a topic that Barbara often talks about, but yeast overgrowth can lead to some health challenges for the baby.
So let's talk about a healthy diet quickly. 2 to 3 servings of protein. It can be meat or poultry, but you want to try to avoid meats with a lot of hormones and antibiotics. Lean meats preferably, vegetable proteins, good. It can have some other supplementation with B12 and iron. Legumes are great. Split pea soups and beans and soy, and then dairy, 3 to 4 servings a day is recommended. You want to start with a healthy diet. This is the stuff that I love, is the dark green leafy vegetables. Get a lot of iron and folic acid there. You get whole grains, fruit, whole organic foods whenever possible, and then avoid all the bad stuff. Tobacco, but alcohol in particular, and medications. Let's aim for a healthy weight. And look at that baby, isn't that just the cutest? Experts recommend that you gain 20 to 26 pounds, mostly during the second and third trimester. A bit less if you're overweight, but you don't want to be on a diet or trying to lose weight when you're pregnant. Because you want to be able to provide a lot of nutrition for yourself and the baby, and then maintain or begin a good exercise program. Steve?
And then we add supplementation for best results. And, again, if we talk about the Shaklee difference, why do I recommend Shaklee? Well, I recommend Shaklee because of their philosophy. When we talk about golden rule philosophy and supplementation, really what that means is Shaklee is absolutely committed to only make products that are going to be beneficial and never make products that could do any harm. And while that seems simple enough, you could probably think back to some of the headlines you've read in the papers or heard on TV or seen on the internet that tell you that not every company has that kind of philosophy. They've got quality controls that are second to none, and purity is critical when you're thinking about that baby. I gave the example of the omega-3 fatty acids. This is not some third-rate manufacturer that's going to give you fish oil plus PCBs. The Shaklee Omega Guard, the omega-3 fatty acids they have in the Vitalizer, those are ultra pure. And then the clinical studies that show that Shaklee products really work. That includes a landmark study, which I'm going to mention in just a minute. The bottom line is Shaklee has the proof. If these products can really change your life and the life of your baby, of course, and the lives of everybody that you share them with. But let me spend just a minute on that landmark study. And while this is perhaps not directly relevant to the pregnancy, I think it is relevant to the value of these products. This is a study that was done by Dr. Gladys Block at UC Berkeley. She looked at people who used the Shaklee products for 20 years or more. Those are the black bars. People who used other companies' multivitamins, that's the gray bars. And people who used no supplements whatsoever for 20 years or more, those were the white bars. And again, if you do the next click, Barbara, if you look at coronary heart disease, if you look at heart attack, angina, congestive heart failure, the prevalence of those diseases was threefold lower in the Shaklee group. You look at diabetes, it was fourfold lower. And these groups were matched with age, with weight, with gender, with ethnicity. The only real difference was in the supplements they were using. So this is the ultimate proof that the quality in clinical studies that Shaklee does make a difference in how the products can affect your health, and it's going to affect the health of your fetus.
So here's our program. We know protein is really critical when during pregnancy, and so the Shaklee 180 smoothie is the best breakfast on the planet. In fact, most of the pregnant women I work with, they feel so good on it that they have it several times a day. It's healthy protein that you need for conception, and it really helps give you good energy and builds healthy cells. Vitalizer with iron. This is our daily vitamin strip with 6 tablets on it that include all the essential nutrients, including iron and the folic acid we talked about earlier, calcium and vitamin D. It has omega-3s in it, probiotics. 80 different nutrients are in that product. And then I recommend that you take additional Osteomatrix, the calcium, especially before bed at night. It's wonderful for preventing those leg cramps and help you sleep like a brick. And then I like extra omega-3 fatty acids for all the reasons Steve just went through. And then you want to minimize your toxic exposure. Certainly cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, but we don't even realize how much stuff we are exposed to. Do the best you can with the foods that you're purchasing. I think more and more organic foods are available to us, but also be aware that personal care products, what we put on our skin, can be absorbed into our bloodstream. And what I love about all the Shaklee personal care products, especially that wonderful Infusel skincare line, is there are no phthalates, there's no parabens, there's no dioxin and formaldehyde and BPA in the containers. And then there's a whole cleaning product line. There is nothing safer to wash your baby's clothes in, nothing safer to clean the house with, clean the baby's room with, than the Shaklee Get Clean product line. So there's the skincare products, there's the hair care products, any of the things you choose, they're all going to be so much safer for you. And here's all the stuff they don't contain. They're not going to have the volatile organic compounds and the phenols and the cresols that cause the damage to the neurological systems of your body. They won't have butylcellulose and phosphoric acid and things that have been shown to be carcinogenic. They're just safe for all the jobs that you have to clean in the house. And the best news is they're also very inexpensive. And today is Earth Day, and there wasn't a lot of conversation about it in the news. And I know there've been a lot of news stories going on, but it is really, I think, important every year at this time just to pause and remind ourselves how precious the planet is, and think about ways that we can walk more gently on it. And it's so wonderful to let people know about this cleaning product line, because it saves them money at the same time that it saves the earth, and it reduces packaging, and it cleans so well. So it's just a tremendous product line. So Steve, let's close with Sean's story.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect close to this particular talk. Some of you may have heard it before, but Sean Huber is our personal trainer. Suzanne first started training with him about 13 years ago, and when she started training with him, she talked to him about the Shaklee products, and he said he wasn't interested. He had products of his own he was using. She shared Shaklee stories with him from time to time, but never really pushed him. Well, about 8 years ago, he went into the doctor. He had a pain in his back. The doctor examined him, and after some tests, told him that he had testicular cancer, and it had metastasized to his back. Now, he told me there was good news and bad news. The good news was that this was a form of cancer that was very treatable. The bad news is he'd never be able to have kids. It would make him sterile. So that kind of got his attention. And so he asked Suzanne, what should I do? Sort of the moral of this is people are listening, even when you think they aren't. And she put him on the Vitalizer and she put him on the Vitalizer, I think the 180 smoothie mix, and she also added the Nutriferon for his immune system. And he sailed through the chemotherapy, did very well, but now the rest of the story becomes very important. Next, just click one more time here. About 3 years ago, he married Megan. And, they kind of decided, well, it would be neat to have kids if that were possible. So again, he came to Suzanne and said, well, what should I do? And she suggested that he add Vivix to his formula, to what he was taking, to his regimen. And so he did. Now, click once more. This is a picture taken about 2 years ago with their daughter, Brighton. Have you ever seen a happier dad? This is what Shaklee products can do.
Wow. So there's our program for a great prenatal supplement program. The Vitalizer with iron, the daily vitamin strip with 6 tablets, the Shaklee 180 smoothie for breakfast or any snacks during the day, lots of protein, lots of fiber, lots of nutrients in there. Osteomatrix, the calcium product, B complex, and Omega Guard. And back to you, Joe.
Great job, you guys. Oh, such and wonderful, helpful. There are a couple of questions here. Someone, Katie Odom, I have several customers who want information on fertility and conceiving. Do you have anything quick on that?
Steve?
Can you hear me?
What I would say is that, that we don't have a magic fertility pill. On the other hand, we have a lot of people. And again, as the example I shared with you a minute ago, Sean's story, it's not just the woman, it's the man as well when you want fertility. We have a lot of couples over the years that were having troubles, and we just put them on a very basic nutrition program. And guess what? The better nutrition made a difference.
Yeah. Kristen Cunningham, when she came to Shaklee, what was that, Joe, 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah, two and a half years
maybe
ago.
2. And she and her husband have been trying to start a family for a long time. And it was after she came to Shaklee and she started on the Vitalizer and the other Shaklee products. And she just had a new baby in March. It was great. So, I mean, it happens a lot. Sean and Carmen Gray. They were another couple, but we do have more information on it. But it is certainly a great place to start because the body really needs all the pieces in order to be able to conceive, and it's just a great starting place. And then I'll get some more information to you on it let me see what I've got in my file.
Good. And someone was wondering about the availability of these slides.
Barb, you usually put them on Bob's files, I think.
Well, we can. Mm-hmm. I'll give them to Chris. And
I think Chris was on here before, too.
Good, okay.
I was asked if a pregnant woman who's 3 months pregnant can use the turnaround kit. I suggested the Lean and Healthy.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. You want to be... you want to be adding protein, make sure you're getting plenty of protein, a slight increase in calories, so you have room to add a serving of the 180 smoothie per day. Or maybe if you want to lose weight, or you don't want to lose weight during pregnancy, you want to limit your rate of weight gain, you might use that in place of something else that you're eating. But no, as we said earlier, this is not a time to try and actively lose weight.
So yeah, I'm thinking the only part of the turnaround kit I wouldn't use is probably the metabolic boost.
Yeah.
But all the other parts of it, the bars and the smoothies and I love the snack crisps. All of those are just packed with nutrition. So all of that would be fine.
All of those are good. I guess the point I'm making is that she shouldn't be trying to think of this as a time when she's trying to lose weight.
Right.
All of the products except for the boost in the turnaround kit could be used,
Could be
But,
used, yeah.
you don't want to be trying for active weight loss while you're pregnant. You can limit the rate of gain, as we said in one of those earlier slides. If you're overweight, you may not need to gain as much weight as somebody who is normal weight or underweight. But you shouldn't be trying to lose weight during pregnancy.
Very
Good. Someone says, okay, wait. I understood that the 180 smoothies are great for pregnant women. Does that mean they are okay for children from ages 2 and older?
Sure.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
It's just a good protein food.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about the tea?
Sure. Yeah, that tea has all kinds of health benefits.
Oh, tons of when you
antioxidants and
about it, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you again so much. It was very well done.
Yeah, your voice keeps coming in and out. It's so funny.
But at least your voice held up when you
Okay,
asked the questions, so we can understand the questions.
Oh gosh! All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. And next week we're doing our Inside the World of Shaklee overview next week on overview about the whole world of Shaklee, and we'll be doing overview of many of the different product lines and the benefits too. So it's a wonderful meeting to invite guests to, especially new Shaklee members, to let them know a little bit more about Shaklee. See you.